I have a confession, 'cause confession heals the soul. Lately I've fallen down, stumbling over past sins and secrets I've held within. Lord, I'm struggling. I need you to fix my desire.
In AD 2003, the Roman government arrested a 22-year-old Christian woman named Perpetua and claimed her head in the name of treason. Her crime wasn't so much that she believed in Jesus. Her crime was that she believed in only Jesus. And thus, because of her radical, arrogant, and intolerant views, she paid the price. And over the years, so have many other Christians. But the question is, folks, was Perpetua right that Jesus is the only way to God? And if yes, then an even bigger question is, what about those who have never heard of Jesus? Is it fair for them? And that's the question we're going to answer in this video. Aware.
Now, Chad, do you have a signature style? I see Shawn smiling away and eating. Chad, do you have a signature style?
Signature style. I don't know, just because the different things that I do require different things. So it's just like, I don't know, it's like I can tell you things that I do, and I guess that would comprise a signature style, but is, I don't know that I've fine-tuned it to say that, to be able to say I know that this is a consistent signature style throughout the different things that I have to do. But I know that I like a lovely tune. I like a lovely tune. Jay-Vis and I spend time on a lovely tune. Like I like it round enough so it grow like a bass. But when I go high, you can get that clarity. And you know what I mean? People have been, talking to me about that, just about like that tone. So, whatever it is, even like, I know this will go will broadcast to like a lot of people in different like spaces, but like in reggae, like we want our bass like round and heavy, But then there's also, don't mess around with these guys that playing real reggae bass lines. There's some genius in terms of the articulation, and you want your tone to be able to like bring that across. You don't want to, you can hear like the values that going in and that kind of a thing. And so
Right.
I find myself like playing at a certain positioning on the bass consistently to kind of get that kind of a tone. And like I was saying, I don't know, this is a signature style, it's just like sensible bass playing, but to storytell. And so I try to think outside of just like the notes that are playing, but like the slides and the breaks and the pauses and that kind of a thing, because I mean, honestly, I try to give myself to growing much more in my technique and my execution. I feel I have a lot more to grow in. And everybody as a conscientious creative, you always want to get better. So it's like I'm not even parading like a false humility thing. Like there's stuff that I hear and I know, like if you listen to this, so that can be better. So a lot of times, I won't go into a session, and I guess this is a weakness that I guess I use it sometimes. A lot of times I won't go into a session trying to do the most. I'll try to look for like just the different dynamics that I can use to my disposal. How I can make a note short. You know what I mean? It don't take a lot of stuff, but the intentionality to make this note short and make that note long just go a long way in terms of powerful piece of music. So and so like I think that will be a reoccurring theme in my playing. Just dynamics and tone. Is that a signature style? I don't know. But yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite song to play of the 6 tracks? What's your favorite song to play?
Interesting that you saw his favorite song and he asked me what was my favorite song to play, because for me that would be two different things. My favorite song to play is Humble Enough. I love playing that song. Humble Enough. And I mean, I don't know if I'm going off the rails. We're talking about Heartwork, but another one of Victor's songs that I adore. You know what I mean? We're not seeking praise in the earth, but I'd love for that song just, found itself on some shelves. Is Stand and Be Counted. Like, playing that song. I love playing that song. Mm-hmm. But off the EP, Humble Enough, man. It's a fun song to play, and it feel like an intelligence, a good mix of traditional bass line and then playing melodic phrases, that horns and melodic kind of things, but not losing the essence of the bass. But one of my favorite songs is I Return. I love that song. I love the message. I love the music songs. The hybrid nature of the song. I love that. Because the first part of the song is like heavily programmed. You know what I mean? And it's a humbling song for me, because when we were in the studio and we're doing it straight through, it's like, yo, this nice. And then Victor said, yo, say, God make a nice little connection, and man say, I'm gonna do some production work. I was like, all right, cool. And we hear the first part, and just drop the live thing, then honestly. I say, yo, Jano, but nice, though, So what you're gonna feel yourself, you're gonna make a desire for be all over the music, overshine the fact that one, how it's programmed really gets the story across, and it's beautiful musicianship. And then for that nice little last part in the bridge and the outside when the band comes back in, it's just like, it don't feel like, I'm not on the man and feel away, so I'm putting this back. It feel like this is where the music needs to go, like this is where the music needs to exhale. So it's, you know what I mean? I really love that song. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So you love to play Humble Enough, and then your favorite is I Return.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think when you're dealing with musicians and producers, even ego does get in the way a lot. I know that even about myself when I'm just doing my own stuff. I'm like, my own head gets in my own head, and I'm like trying to talk myself out doing something. So I'm like, oh, no, that's a terrible idea. Or no, that's a great idea. That's another reason why community making music is huge. But I love that. I agree. I love I Return, though, like in terms of the hybridness of the elements being used, but I also like Homely Enough, kind of again hybrid in a different sense of the writing behind Humble Enough is super, like we talked about this, super somber, but the music is super lively and like upbeat, and it's kind of this like, it's like the whole thing feels like an oxymoron. You know what I mean? Like the whole track is kind of encompassed in like, I want to dance, but I also am like, man, I'm mad convicted right now.
Yeah.
But I just resonated with what you were saying, Chad, just like in that sense of like the elements that kind of are different, but then when they're combined, kind of like add this like super cool element to the whole track overall.
Right. Now, Shawn, that's your favorite song, Humble Enough, of the tracks?
Well, I don't. It's hard to say if I have a favorite, to be honest. I think my most played track is probably Wonder, actually.
I love Wonder as well.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
But what else?
And we're not talking about it much right now, but I mean, it really is
Like just the vibe
It's-
alone. I'm like,
I love it. I love it.
but it goes beyond that. It's also the like the wonder of thinking of God and his like
Yeah.
like what Victor said. I totally get it, because wonder is like one of the songs I'm listening to on my headphones while I'm going for my walk, when I'm taking my lunch break at work. I get to walk around. I'm looking at trees and nature, and I'm like, wow, like, yeah, wonder, like this is like the wonder of just exploring nature, kind of reminiscent to like Genesis 1 kind of energy, where like the man is exploring nature and seeing God's magnificence everywhere. And it's just like so overwhelming sometimes, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, Victor, it's about time we dissect this song now. So, first verse, second verse. Victor, tell us about the song. What does this mean to you?
Just before I jump into, I think Chad, you wanted to say something? I saw you raise your hand.
Yeah.
Oh my bad, I didn't see
want.
him.
No, that's
Oh,
fine.
yeah,
That's fine.
sorry,
It's just Wonder. I also want to talk about Wonder because Wonder was just an interesting song for me as a bass player.
Yeah.
Because when you listen to Wonder, so many things are happening, and the bass line is and the chords are, and Victor singing, atonal melodies, and it's just like, I think for me it's like, I don't know, it's like I don't know, it's almost, I guess, like it's like a father. This is how I'm thinking about it right now. It's like a picture, like it's like a father going, if I can do all of the things that the children doing, but I get so much joy from seeing them do what them doing. I stay right here, so because if I shift out in time, I show off, and not in the sense of like, when I say father, I don't mean the sense of like that I had any more mature role, but just like just feeling like, this is so good for me. I will stay right here, so on these three notes, like if I can do that and all of this can happen, I stay right here. Because it's such a it's such a kaleidoscopic song. Like is what I mean? And the truth is that like in that kind of a place, like there generally has to be, there's a rules are made to be broken, and you see that all the time with music. People like Jacob Collier doing crazy things, but like
yes,
there's generally insane. Just like
he's a bassist as well.
Jacob is at everything. He's at everything.
Everything.
I feel like Jacob, like bad Christian joke. I feel like Jacob is what Lucifer was before he fell. Like I'm not like
facts. No facts. That's the character type that people paint. Is that like that's who Jacob is. Is like he's this savant of like musicianship.
Yeah, it's not like an indictment on Jacob's character, but it's just like when you think about a being that exudes music, just like
that's
that.
Him. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like generally you find that like when the more things get kaleidoscopic, you'll have to have like a one or two elements that so that the other things can do what they're doing. And so Wonder's an interesting song for me like that, because when I was even in studio and on stage at Muse, my mind was just like, be fascinated but don't be distracted, because if you get distracted, you know what I mean, you will lose what you're supposed to be doing. And so it's an interesting kind of song like that. Even though you hear I'll be vulnerable again, I tell myself all the time. You hear the intro for Wonder where I'm playing the bass line, and then drums is like in a different like signature. And in rehearsal, it was like a big joke. Everybody's like, all right, we're gonna count out loud for Chad because he's never gonna get on the count like every time. And then Joel Grant is like super skillful with timing manipulation. Coming off, and I'm just like, I'll just be like, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and it's just part of it for real, because the guys are such, as I feel like, massively gifted. It's like, count, no timing, don't rely on it to feel natural and symmetrical. Count, Because we're talking in a hybrid language here, so Wonder is such an interesting song.
Wonder is
You
the
know what I mean?
wonder.
Like,
It
as a
is.
Wonder is the wonder, man.
And and remember, Chad, you were, of course, you were at Viewers, and this song actually got an encore. Remember?
Yeah. Oh,
Remember?
yeah.
Yeah.
I have,
So
I have the video on my Instagram. People were like, oh,
yeah, more, and Victor had to come back, and everybody had to get it again. So
yeah, man, Wonder is great things.
yeah, really good.
You know,
Victor?
Yeah, it's so funny. I just love sitting back and listening to these guys talk. How about this? Honestly, don't remember. Honestly, don't remember the Muse and the Encore. Honestly, did not remember that.
How could
So,
you? How
honestly,
could you?
And then hearing Chad talk about the timing at the intro, I'm just remembering in rehearsal for reading it when Joel. I don't know whose idea was that. Was that the separate time signatures? That was Joel. Who was that?
I think that was
Joel.
Yeah.
I feel like it was Joel. And Joel was like, yo, and Joel is Shawn and Sara. When you're in rehearsal with Joel, you have all the different personalities, right? So
and Joel is a drummer.
And Joel is a drummer.
Right.
He plays the drums and everything. But Joel is, I don't know, it's so beautiful to see these different personalities. Because all these people have different sides. Like Joel is on one side, insanely mature and solid. Like he's a no nonsense kind of person. Like I'm not here to play games. I'm here about a very serious rehearsal. We have a task to accomplish. But on the other hand, Joel is a big clown. Like, and Joel won't take offense when we say that. Joel will horse around. Joel will joke around. Like, you know, he's not uptight then. So you know, when Joel would have been like, "Yo guys, how you feel about XYZ?" Like, I do different times in show. I'm trying to remember what our reactions were in that moment. If we were so excited that we're just like, yeah man, go for it. but then when we started, everybody had to be like, all right, one, no, one, and everybody in the room is struggling to like maintain this thing to come in on cue while Joel is just like, Joel is just in his own world and he's just killing it. I'm just like, but it's beautiful because I feel like, again, God has really spoiled me, because to get to work with some of these guys and be introduced to some of these concepts, like, you know, different musicians playing in different time signatures and that sort of thing, is not something I should, or in the ordinary course of events, have gotten access to work with musicians of this caliber in that space. And so I'm just grateful to learn. And I think it's one of the privileges of songwriting, where when you get to write a song and then you see it coming to life from the different persons involved, it is, I don't know words to describe what that feels like. I feel like when you say, hey, I feel like this, so that even if I go to Chad and say, Chad, I give Chad a skeleton, but I'm always like, just do what you want with it. Do what you want with it. What do you hear? What do you feel? And then Chad is like, all right. And then when he goes off on his little run with that, and he's like, all right, Joel, I feel like this. Yeah, and then you're just excited to see what each of these very, very gifted guys comes up with on their own. And it's just like, somehow it all comes back together. And I feel like, before I go into the verse, I want to like taking it apart a little bit, because we're coming down, is just, you see, if everybody in this musical space has God as a center, it goes a long way.
Yes, man.
One of the things, when I study the Bible, one of the things that I'm doing a lot of now is studying the Bible for its defense, for the defense of truth, because we live in a world where it is challenged consistently. And so that discipline of apologetics, one of the things you have to be able to do as a believer is, why is the Bible true? Like, not everybody believes in the Bible like you. You can't keep, gone are the days when you can throw the Bible at people and say, thus saith the Lord, and people shake in fear. Like, those days are gone. You need to know why this thing is true, historically, scientifically, and otherwise. So one of the biggest proofs of the Bible's verity, or the Bible's truth, is the fact that all these different authors from different times, eras, generations, cultures, write a compelling story that is harmonious. So without knowing each other, without Moses knowing Paul, without Paul knowing Haggai, without Haggai knowing Solomon, without Solomon, you know what I mean? Like, they all write a harmonious story. And what that does is that it points to a source of inspiration outside of man. Now, when it comes on to like music and the songwriting process and this creative process with these guys, it has been a lot of that. It has been when each of these individual creatives can go off in their specific pursuit and in their specific, this is what I hear and this is what I feel musically and spiritually, this song calling me to do creatively. And we all come back to harmony. It means something outside of ourselves is determining what we play and how we sound. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So with regard to the first verse of Wonder, I am filled with wonder, or when I ponder the work of your hands. I can't believe that you made it all, then you came and died for your creation. And I mean, the idea there is very clear. It's pretty much looking around and being like, yo, I'm blown away by seeing all that you've done. But then what blows me away more than just the product of what you've done, because sometimes we stop there, is the other layer, which is not only did you make this all, but then you died for this all. That's crazy. So you made it, then you died for it. And then it's kind of itemizing different things in creation. The birds, the bees, the flowers, the trees, nature sings your glory. With one voice, I'll join the choir, because we know in Psalms, it talks about all nature, all the things created, singing the praises of God. With one voice, I'll join the choir and sing redemption story, it's your love. And so it goes into the chorus and stuff. But that's verse 1. And it was again, I never wrote this song to record it. I just wrote this song because it was in my heart to sing to the Lord. That was how I felt about God. I was singing to God, first of all. And it just so happened that eventually, Jay-Vis and these guys got a hold of it.
Right. And the chorus is quite simple. It's your love.
Yeah, it's your love
that's
for me. It's and I'm grateful for how the chorus is set up, because the verses are very verbose. The verses are very wordy. And so it was fun that the chorus was something that had hooks, had little parts that people could like latch into and like sing as a refrain kind of vibe.
Nice. I love it. Now, then we move into your bridge. And Shawn, every week we talk about this and we say how skillful he is at, just bridging everything together. Like, I think his bridge here was, the fuse here was, I can't sing. I don't want to sing. The, Victor.
Yeah.
Oh, the yeah. Let me tell you,
it's like a shout section.
Yeah, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I was watching a Corey Henry video, and so that actually
that explains it.
Yeah, but let me show you something. There is a way, music is such a beautiful thing. There is a way in which
Corey Henry.
Corey Henry is
he's a famous
soul and
keyboardist,
musician and keyboardist and vocalist and songwriter and producer.
Thanks for that context.
He used to be the keyboardist. Well, he was a part of Starkey Puppy. I don't know if he still is. That was a phenomenal jazz and soul and funk group. He was a keyboardist there. That's where he really got his feet wet. And then he went solo. So kind of like PJ Morton's journey from Maroon 5 keyboardist for Adam Levine out into his own solo identity. That's kind of like a Corey Henry's journey.
He's been playing since he was literally a child, a kid, super tiny, and then but playing keys like he's been playing for his whole life, when he was in church, just on the Sunday morning keyboard. That he can play. It's ridiculous of the gifting there.
Yeah, so he's been phenomenal. So it's beautiful how sometimes in different genres you have different fixtures. That chant, that mantra is a fixture of funk. It occurs in a lot of funk songs in different variations. It's kind of like hallelujah in the Bible. In funk is like hallelujah in the Bible. It's something that if you listen to a lot of funk, you're going to hear somewhere. It takes different shapes or forms. But when I heard Corey do that years ago, I was like, this just feels so right. And I felt like, I wish Corey was a Christian. I wish he was. I wish he was writing folk unto the Lord. But when I was writing this song unto the Lord, because that's what it was, I was like, what do I feel like I want to say in this moment of jubilance or jubilation? And that was what came out. So yeah.
Right. And I have to say though, you have this thing you said, it's your love for me. I know that right now we have this slang, it's the dress for me, or it's the laugh for me, or
it's the
and then that was written how many years ago? And
that's
I guess
wild.
we could say that.
That's wild.
Victor,
I
we
never
could-
made that connection.
we could
Really?
say Victor
I thought
was
that
the
was
one who.
intentional.
No, that was not it. Jay-Vis and
That
Chan,
was
you know what
done
they're talking
years
about?
ago.
You know what they're talking about?
Yeah.
This whole new cultural thing
yeah,
of
yeah.
like it's a dress for me
I never
or
even see
it's
that.
I never even
I
saw
never
that.
saw that. I
I
never
never
saw
see
that
that.
at all.
Huh.
I never saw that at all.
Good one, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yo,
Yo, that was
sorry to go like
No, man,
tangent,
go
but
through.
I love like these kind of conversations. Cause you know what I love? I hope sorry you don't ever feel like, oh, I don't know who Corey Henry is, or I don't know who like Jacob Collier, because
Right.
you see like the mind, like, here's one of the things with genius, is being able to see a different perspective on someone. So everybody in here kind of
Facts.
kind of in a track, like just like
Yeah.
music and that,
For real.
and then you can come
Yeah.
and look at them and be like, oh, yo, that
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
this cross-discipline connection, like,
Yes.
Yeah.
and those
Yeah.
are some beautiful things. Because
Beautiful.
even like there's a phenomenal producer, you know what I mean, Rick Rubin.
Mhm.
And one of the things that they say about Rick Rubin, is that man is more of a maker of connections of ideas than a musician.
Okay.
Because he sits outside of like he tries to intentionally sit outside of just in the seat of music, flat 5, sharp 11,
Mm.
Jacob Collier, and then like a human being, like just like
Human being.
experiencing life, and then bring that kind of perspective into music, and so beautiful things come from that. So like even when you're saying that a while ago, and all of us are just like, yo, never see that. That is a beautiful example of how genius manifests itself. The ability to make connections, isn't it? But
That's right.
I digress.
That's right.
And now that now the song is even more timeless now because it moves with the
Exactly.
times.
Yeah, there you
Based
go.
on interpretation.
Right. And Victor didn't even know that he would have been the inventor. See, that people
No
don't even know
idea.
that.
Victor, you're
You
the
know,
trendsetter, man.
I
That's
know,
all
right?
you.
It's
God,
your
God, the
love for
trendsetter.
me.
Let me tell you, when you love Jesus, no, for real, though, when you love the Lord, these things just flow. Because as I say, I always tell people, yo, I had no clue. I was never writing any of these songs to share with anybody. None of these songs were ever written. And I feel like that's a liberating place to create from. I feel like it's liberating because, listen, when you get into production for commercial value or production for audiences, I don't care how people are good or experienced, there is a tension that automatically is created of the value of this thing now coming into question because of how it will be received. But when you're creating wholly and solely for your creator, and you know that he loves it, it don't matter what this thing is, he loves it. It's liberating. It frees you to just do what you feel and so you think far less about the musical value and but what will they play here and how will this relate to that? It's existing outside of that and creating outside of that. And I mean, in a lot of ways, these are things I honestly pray about, because writing songs now, I can't roll back time to when I was pre-Heartwork and just a kid writing songs to the Lord, just on walks or whatever. Because you've changed, and the change is good. It's healthy change, it's positive change. But then in a lot of ways, you're like, Lord, how do I still write from a place of not being consumed by how this is to be musically interpreted for an audience? You know what I mean? Because in a way, that side is beautiful and that side is necessary. But I still want to feel the freedom of I'm just writing to God, and whatever this is, he loves it and I'm good with it, kind of thing. And if it ever is performed or produced, I still want to carry that over, kind of like Wanda has done. Because God would have looked down in his transcendence in eternity and saw that it's your love for me in how many years, 10 years time, everybody's going to be saying it's that for me. And I'm just like, I didn't even know that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yes, sir. Hashtag it's your love for me.
Yeah. Now, Jay-Vis, I know that you probably had something to do with the bridge. No? Right? He's quiet.
With the bridge?
Yeah.
I think it's the same musical exposure, what I'll say is from song to song,
Yes.
you try to, let's say I haven't been exposed to a lot of songs along this line. Let's say for argument's sake, that's what has happened.
Right.
So let's say I wasn't listening to a lot of Corey Henry, but because Victor come write that song now, I forgot to listen to Corey Henry, listen to Snarky Puppy, listen to Stevie Wonder,
Yeah.
all of these things, to try to make some kind of connection between what on earth is he doing right here in the middle of this deep, deep song. What is going on? Is a party going to start right now? All right. Okay. All right. I hear you, Victor, bro. So yeah, man. It was, I think, well, for me, from start to finish, especially for the bridge, it's just to make it as meaningful as possible, but not to interfere with what the guys were doing. So, you know, that's my role. I can't assume anything higher than it. Yeah, man. Just ensuring that it is meaningful and that transitions make sense. So, you know, yeah, man. So for the, I think my injection there would be for the background vocals well, at first we had it as like a crowd of people. We actually had about 4 or 5 people in a room doing that to kind of mimic the whole underground. Let's say Victor was having the same muse thing in some kind of club underground type of vibe. So we had some people scattered in a room doing a thing, you know, doing it, just echoing what he was doing. But yeah, it just carrying across. Nothing extra from me there at all.
Okay.
All Victor and the man them.
Okay, all Victor and the man them. Okay, now before I go to the support vocalist, because Victor has taken on that word. No, we don't call them background vocalist in this series. We call them support. That's okay. We call them support vocalists. Now, Jay-Vis, you would have played keyboard on one of the songs. Victor, help me out. What song did Jay-Vis play?
So it's the I think the 2 songs by LJ were I Return and Wonder, and then I would have played keys on the rest of them.
Oh, okay. So basically 6.
Oh, and Trust You More, definitely Trust You More, LJ. You know. Bless
so you played keys on 3.
On 4 of 7, I think.
Well, the conversation
is like a talking track.
So yeah, so
the conversation, right. So 3.
3. What was that like for you?
Hey, it's a little bit more than it's fun. It's a blessing. You hear?
Right.
And because, all right, for the songs, for example, for the songs that I didn't play keys on, it was a great time doing what we call, you know, kind of transcribing or figuring out what was played and having the supporting vocalist complement what was played. Because, you know, especially with these kind of you know, the more highly technical songs, you want to ensure that the persons don't just sound good singing basic harmony parts, but actually sing harmony parts that complement the direction of the song. It even spilled over into verse 2. What was that line that Victor was singing?
At the start of Wonder? At the
in Wonder.
The second verse?
Yeah.
Your intervention. I was dying when
you
stepped in.
Yeah. You hear the singing coming out, you know.
Oh, man.
Right.
But yeah, just figuring that out. You know, with Victor present and we just thinking about what LJ was playing at the time. That was an awesome experience. So it allowed me to step away from, you know, doing the keys and really zone in on the vocal production to complement what was going on. That was That's why, these things are just so amazing. Wonder is a wonder.
Yeah, it is a wonder indeed. No, Victor, tell us about the musicians on this track,
Jay-Vis,
along with the support
this was
vocalists.
Chad. This was Chad on bass, Joel on drums,
Right?
LJ on keys, Mark on perks. Who sing BGVs now, Jay-Vis? Help me. This is
John L. Grant.
This one is Alicia and Carl.
Alicia
Alicia
Carl.
Taylor
Yes.
and Carl Lee Schmidt.
Yes.
Oh wow, it's just two?
Just two.
Guitar
I-
Mind so we still special mention for Victoria Tuff, Janelle Grant, Daniel Dundas. They would have done previous iterations, same vocals, same arrangement rather, and they were phenomenal as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Chris Campbell played. Was it Chris that played guitar on this?
Yeah, man. So Chris Campbell played
on guitar.
Yeah.
And then the horns lines would have been LJ.
Right.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Still blows my mind. I'm like, I
think
cannot
one
believe
thing.
that was
One thing I just want to mention on this, as we wrap up Sarah and Shawn, is there's a sound in this song. I don't know if Jay-Vis remembers the horn.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call
Oh,
it.
it's muted trumpet. Second verse. That vibe. In the second verse, no?
There's that, but there's one other one. There's one where I'm trying to describe. It's where the sound curls up, like it's at the end of the second
Okay,
verse.
yeah, man. So that's the horns.
Mm-hmm.
So they did a I guess it's the opposite of a fall.
Bro, listen.
Yeah.
I said to Jay, and this is what I tell yo. If you want to get good music, just see Jay this year. Find him. Because let me tell you, like I said to Jay, I said, yo, there's this sound that I hear. Because a lot of the time, as a songwriter, you'll hear something and I don't play horns. I don't know what that is, right? I just know what I heard and I know it needs to be in this song at this part in the song. And says like, Jay-Vis, you know this sound and you try to sing it or mimic it with your voice. Like it's like I call it folds up or it foils up. And it's like the horn sound kind of curls up. And I don't know how Jay-Vis and LJ figured it out. I really couldn't tell you.
Man.
But when I heard it, I remember when Jay-Vis would have sent me a draft and I heard it, I was like, Jesus, thank you. That sounded a lot for me in terms of you write a song and you hear and you feel this particular thing, and then you work with people who are able to actually bring life to that vision. So, yeah.
Right.
It's a blessing.
Wow. Again, thank you so much, both Chad and Jay-Vis, for joining us for this episode. We've been talking about you both throughout this entire project, and to actually get like your input on things and actually hear your perspective and like even get to see your personality play out over camera is also really cool too. Really adds a lot, and I'm hoping everybody was blessed by your guys' input today. Phenomenal. I mean, you guys are. I mean, if you're working with Victor, I don't have to say anything else. But no, and seriously, like you guys, you brought your gifts to the table, and like we were talking about earlier about the independent obedience and how everyone kind of just in conglomeration created this identity of the song, like not just Wonder, but the entire identity of the project in its whole holistic view. It's just incredible, and
it is.
It's amazing. A work of art. But thank you guys everyone, for whoever tuned in today, or whenever you're watching this. Really, I guess I can't really say today. But and thank you all for being here on this part of the journey covering Heartwork. I know that this project is very near and dear to everyone in this call's heart. The countless hours spent on it, the tears, the prayer meetings, I wasn't there, but I can feel it because I just getting to talk to you guys about everything. But so no, seriously, thank you guys for watching and tuning in. We pray that this actually has blessed you, and Victor,
and watch the previous.
Oh yeah, watch the previous
set of episodes. This is the final of our series. If you're watching this now, you can feel free to check out the previous about 5 or so episodes. Would have covered each of the songs on Heartwork. Chad and Jay-Vis, thank you guys so much for not only being a part of this journey, but for being a part of my life as friends, as brothers, as godly men who I look up to not only musically, but spiritually and in character. Really, I thank God for you both. Where can people connect with you both? I guess Jay-Vis could go quickly, and then Chad, if people want to connect with you, where do they find you?
Right. All social media handles Pioneermusicja. Yeah. Can email me pioneermusicja@gmail.com.
Awesome. Chaddy.
On IG, and there also just recently launched a website to be able to connect with people some more. The link for that is on my IG, and I
What's
really
your
want
IG?
to be connecting with you. Chaddy Zeb, CHADDIEZEB or ZEB. Yeah.
Thank you guys for
Right,
joining
thank
us
you.
for this episode of Song Distillery. Take care, guys. Bye.
Blessings.
I'll return.